Hi, I'm Lindsay Alexander, and this is mybanktracker.com. Did you ever think you were getting ripped off by a 401k plan? I can't blame you because, in all honesty, lots of people get ripped off. In fact, millions of people get ripped off. A recent study showed the average American household paid almost $155,000 in fees for their 401k plan. Now, it could be that you have so much money saved up for retirement that you don't mind throwing away that much money on fees, even when those fees are often to fund that either track a major index so there's no management or expertise involved, or don't perform as well as funds that track the major index. So there are managers and experts involved, but they're pretty bad at their job. Okay, so odds are that you're just like everybody else. You can't afford such outrageous fees, and you had no idea that you were even paying them. The financial service industry has made a point of making sure you don't know what you're paying for your 401k. They've built an industry of unclear small print, jargon, gibberish, and just plain nonsense. There is a new legislation coming out that's supposed to end all of that. It requires plan sponsors, your boss, to be aware of all fees charged by their plan service providers and their services they're receiving for these fees. In other words, there's a new law that requires your boss not to be a fool when he signs on with a company to provide 401k plans for his employees. Now, this is where things start to fall apart. The new law also calls for clear disclosures of fees to sponsors. In other words, it's going to be a little bit harder for your boss to be a fool because now he'll have the numbers right in front of him. That's good news since the GAO says almost half of plan sponsors didn't know their employees were paying investment management fees. And before we get all too upset with the boss, let's take a look in the mirror. A study by the AARP showed that 71% of employees thought their 401k plans were free. The New York Times says plan sponsors are supposed to use this information to analyze whether the fees in their plans are too high. But they won't have to pass all of this data to participants. Instead, the sponsors will be required to calculate expense ratios for the investments offered in a plan, showing participants the charge per $1,000 invested. So don't anticipate thousands of companies across the nation suddenly telling their employees, "We took a look at the numbers and noticed that you guys are paying a lot of money unnecessarily for your 401k. In fact, it looks like you've thrown away about $155,000 each. We're sorry about that, but it was really hard to read the fine print before." So the lesson here is this. Yes, you're getting ripped off. And no, the government is not about to help you. And no, this is not your boss's fault. He's no smarter than you. And yes, you're going to have to do something about it. Perhaps it would be wise to join together with a half dozen of your coworkers, drill down into the fee issue yourselves, and make some recommendations to your boss about how you can fix your company's plan. It's up to you to look into this and make a change as to where your money for your retirement is going. I'm Lindsay Alexander with mybanktracker.com, and together we're going to build your finances and rebuild the world.